All right. Hello. Uh, I'm back to another video. Try this. I'm trying to make this as short as possible, but I want to say happy birthday to a man that isn't able to celebrate it. A little bit over a month ago, he lost his life in front of a crowd, in front of his family, in front of his wife and two kids. And what really makes this event so horrific is he wasn't anything different. And you may know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. Charlie was not really anything different from who from what I aspire to be, or a lot of people that I personally see. It wasn't anything special, realistically. He was just an average guy going around and just being a role model. He was a leader. He was very respectful in what he was doing on those college campuses, going around debating. And I'm a bit disappointed because I didn't know who he was until his death. But hearing all these different voices and opinions around what happened on September 10th led me to do some of my own research. Because I was confused, and I'd always been a person who wasn't really so politically loud, which is just what my generation is so confused by, because we don't like to offend people. We don't like to say things because we might, get canceled for possibly just being normal. And that's what Charlie was doing. He was just a normal person speaking the truth and defending his own opinion. And he was extremely respectful. He was extremely open to hearing the other person out. So many clips, so many, of his debates, he gave the opposite person an open mic to say what they wanted. Was it effective? Was it, the best possible way to change their mind? Maybe not, you know? But then again, in any circumstance, there's not really any effective way on a debate. Because the only way a person can truly change their opinion is if there's an event that happens that leads them to fully 180 without belief. And a ton of people can say, though, that with what happened to Charlie has made a 180. And I've seen that 180 happen. Where, and maybe it's not a complete 180, maybe it's more like just a 90-degree turn. And so, but we see people leaving the other side because they see the hypocrisy from it, where they name call constantly, and then you have an event like this where he lost his life, not in private, but publicly in front of a crowd. And when it comes to the owning up part, they just blame instead of taking responsibility for what happened. And what makes it even more scary is, going back to what I said about Charlie, he wasn't different from what a lot of people like me are. He was a leader. He was someone who spoke his mind and defended his beliefs no matter who was speaking, but he also allowed the person to speak, and he was very open. I'm very open to the fact that I'm a Christian. Very open. You know, it's I hope it's the one thing people see when they see me. You know, and when I start speaking. I hope it's very open that you can tell. Right? Because and it's crazy that I've watched so many of his videos where I'm like these are the things I hold in common with this man. And it is scary because it's almost like, yeah, the gun was pointed and it was shot at him, but it almost feels like even though I didn't know him as like a person, what he stood for could easily be any person who had the same opinion. And I agree with him almost 9 to 10 on things. Like 9 out of 10 times I agree with Charlie. And it's scary here. And you know, it's a shame that he died young, and he isn't able to celebrate, I think, his 32nd birthday, as it would have been. You know, but his death and what he stood for has inspired me to change this channel around, to build up my own podcast, to help and be a teacher. And this is really the message I want to put in this video, is that he may have died, but his voice didn't. If that makes sense. The man may have tried to quiet him by killing him, but only in doing so actually made his voice louder. Because now, people like me, or let me rephrase, people like him will now speak out louder. Because you can threat all you want, and you may be able to, you know, kill one of us, but you cannot murder thousands, you know, at once. That will just be impossible. And doing so in the belief that things will be peaceful, it is impossible. Murder can't bring peace, but Jesus can. And that's really all I got to say. I hope this finds you. I hope that the Kirks have an amazing, blessed day, that Turning Point USA continues to thrive, and it has, and it is showing has continued to thrive. And I hope that America continues to grow stronger, and that people just begin to open their eyes to what's really being spread. Because I will agree that both sides are very toxic. But I can also see that a lot of people, at least where I stand, are open to hearing out both sides. And there is a clear side that is actually more open than the other. So, I'm here as a voice of reason, a voice to hear. Always. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to teach. I'm here to lead. That is my calling. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And I know that Charlie Kirk is probably up in heaven rejoicing at the amount of people he's helped to bring the light. Because all we can do is spread the word, and after that we just have to let the word do the rest. Like, subscribe, comment down below if you need anything. You know, if you need prayer, you know, if you want a video recommendation, you know, anything. I'm here. Take care and peace. Bye, guys.